down the stretch. He really is. He really is, because not only has he got the skills, like you say, he's got the character, and that's been revealed already.
Ladies and gentlemen,
now we head into the super heavyweights.
The last final, the men's super heavyweight division, the last bout of this beautiful youth men's and women's World Boxing Championship, Kielce, Poland, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please into the ring. To the red corner, from Armenia, Hovhannes Papazian.
So making his way to the red corner then from Armenia, Hovhannes Papazian. Had quite a strange semi-final in many ways. He was in with Fernando Arzola of Cuba. Arzola had a decent enough first round, and right at the start of the second, his left eye really came up. It started to close. It wasn't absolutely clear how it had happened. Then he went down from a body shot, which hardly seemed to land. Then he retired with a shoulder injury. He seemed physically just to fall apart, but Papazian has to be given some credit for his part in that, as he just maneuvers his way through the ropes in very sprightly fashion. A good win against Vasyl Tkaczuk of Ukraine as well. Well, Zakharov is somebody I've seen all the way through this competition, a former Asian junior champion, actually came second in the national elite, so that's the seniors, which is a serious achievement. A stoppage against Marlon Hurtado of Colombia early on, then a showdown with a Kazakh rival, Asian youth champ Amanat Sabeghali. He won that one 4-1, stopped Ahmet Senol of Turkey in the quarterfinals. Then a good fight against Levante Kiss of Bulgaria in the semis. He looks to get that long 1-2 going, and when he does and he locks on with it, his opponents have got a serious problem. And here are the judges for this final bout: Guatemala, Mongolia, Jordan, Ukraine and Russia. The final bout of what has been an absolutely fantastic 2021 AIBA Youth Men's and Women's World Championships. We've thoroughly enjoyed it, and this is one of the fighters I saw really early on. I think I saw him on the very first day, and at that point I did wonder to myself, will he be making it through to this stage? I would have put a reasonable wager on it at that point. You look at him physically, and he's a big man. And in fact, not quite a man yet, really, so that's the kind of terrifying thing about it. He could get even bigger. Boxing out of the blue corner, Jakongir Zokirov, but Hovhannes Papazian of Armenia, he's here for gold as well. The bell goes at the start of the round, and you see that lead hand there of Zokirov just kind of floating around almost. And what he's looking to do is find the range for the 1-2. He has had difficult passages during this tournament as well. Sabeghali was a hard fight. Levante Kiss at times was a hard fight too, so he hasn't had everything his own way. Nice little left hand on the inside there from Papazian, who's got that right hand up by his chin, by his jaw, and he's well advised to do that. Tidy little combination there from the Armenian, goes to the body with the left hand and the right. But Zokirov, the game plan is quite simple. He looks to set those feet quite wide, just creep in with that front foot until he's in range, or he feels he's in range, and then he lets go what is quite a nice loose 1-2. That's the key to it. He doesn't really load up on it and try and take your head off. He just sends it through. Papazian knows that. That's why he's determined to keep him in the centre of the ring and keep him moving and keep him turning, so that he hasn't really got time, as I say, to lock onto that target. Left hand to the body there from Zokirov. Almost at the halfway point of this round. Papazian has done most of the punching so far, you would probably say, in terms of scoring punches that have landed. There hasn't been much on any of them. A jab there, just snapped up, found Zokirov, who again there, as I say, is just always on top of you with that front foot. Caught a couple of left hands on his way in there, the Uzbek. He's doing a good job with him here, Papazian, because as I say, he's keeping him turning. So he has to reset, and every now and again, like he did just then, he'll hit him with a jab. And once again, that'll cause him just to have to step off.
Don't push, Wu.
Into the final minute of the round, deep into the final minute of the round. Left hand there from Zakirov. I don't think really landed absolutely clean. Maybe made contact with the inside of the glove there. And the inside of the glove possibly just dragging Papazian across towards that neutral corner on our left. Snapping that jab there, Papazian didn't quite get through with it. Right hand, I think, might have done. Zakirov trying to work him on the ropes there. Good jab. And there you get an idea of the kind of force that he can land with. Now, he's been on the front foot making a fight throughout the course of this 3 minutes of Zakirov. That is undeniable. He hasn't landed a great deal. Papazian has had some nice busy hands and has done some effective work in terms of landing scoring punches. Not totally convinced which way the judges will go with that.
Very competitive opening round, and there's the confirmation of the scorecards. All 5 judges preferring the work of Zakirov after that 3 minutes. I thought it was really instructive when in the final minute he landed a right jab which completely disrupted the balance of Papazian. And if he can get that right hand working, didn't load up on it by any means, but it landed with such weight. Now, for Papazian's point of view, he possesses terrific reflexes. He's happy to invite that pressure and back himself to be quicker on the draw, on the counter, but like he did there. So again, perhaps a really instructive replay as to how he wants to go about it, but it is a risky kind of strategy against a man who possesses such heavy artillery in his tool bag.
I think the discouraging thing about that round for Papazian is that I would say that if you're on his coaching staff and if you're him even, that you thought that round went pretty well. I'd have thought that went according to script, but he hasn't won it. He hasn't won it. The judges preferring Zakirov, who was coming forward, and as you say, when he landed that jab, you could see him turn Papazian through 180 degrees almost. He's just got those naturally heavy hands, and I think the reason they're heavy is because he doesn't load up with them. He just lets them go, and at some point he will find a home for that 1-2. Papazian just winging with the left hand there a couple of times, ducking his head almost, and just throwing that one a bit wildly. They're looking for the left Zakirov, but the weight came just a little bit too far forward, and he ended up stumbling after it. Dabbing jab there from Uzbek. Good bit of work there from Zakirov. Just took the weight back and then responded with a snappy little 1-2. And the benefit of having that really wide stance is that the front foot crowds your opponent. It makes him feel like you are right on top of him and that you're in range. But as he showed there, Zakirov, Papazian snapped a jab at him and he can just pull that weight all the way back, and being so tall, it means that your opponent doesn't actually reach. So in a way, it's a bit of a mirage. You see him pecking with the jab there, Papazian, and he's not going to reach with that. Zakirov, though, is always within range because he's that bit taller. And with that height comes that reach. Still midway through the second round, though. And Papazian has so far successfully avoided catching a long straight left from Zakirov. But there's a good left hand to the body from the Uzbek. It's just difficult to see how Papazian can win this fight, quite honestly, because I thought he did pretty well in that opening round and the judges went Zakirov's way. I don't have a problem with it, but given that happened, I'm not sure what else he can really do in terms of his approach to the fight into the final minute.
Stop. What's leading with the head? Box!
Just feinting with that front foot. Zakirov seeing if he can draw something from Papazian, and he did. Papazian with the weight just a little bit forward there, leaning in a touch. Left hand on the inside there from Papazian landed. The gum shield has come out. Just flying out, the mouth not closed. Not shut down, keeping that one in. It's Papazian, so a little bit of a breather for both of them right before the end of the round.
I'll wash my hands off. mouthpiece. Bite down, okay? Box!
Referee telling him to bite down to keep that in his mouth. Final 10 seconds of the second round. And a round that, in many ways, is similar to the first, other than the fact that Zakirov just landed that little bit more.
I agree entirely, and I think what was perhaps different in that second round, only in a couple of instances, is that Zakirov was able to uncoil his left hand out of that southpaw stance. It was one cross through the middle which really got the attention of Papazian, and one body shot with a traded body shots, but after Zakirov dipped his knees and really drove it in, well, he possesses the type of power that can make an opponent reticent, I feel, because Papazian knows what he's got to do. He's got the guns to do it. Remember, in his 4 wins en route to this final, Papazian is 3 wins. He's got 2 stoppage wins himself. So this contest is not over the line yet, even though he's up 20 points to 18. We always stayed up in this division, can be turned around quickly. But in order to land that type of heavy shot, he's got to put himself in the firing line of the man in blue.
That's exactly it. He's got to take real risks here. But this is a World Championship final. These don't come along every day. It's easy for us to sit down here and say that he needs to do that. But I think in his mind, he will be thinking that this is something that he wants to do. Take that gamble. A little bit too much water on the face there and just wiped off. He attracted the referee's attention there, Zakirov, as you'll see fighters in all codes of boxing do, actually, if they feel that there's something they're particularly uncomfortable with. About 20 seconds into round 3, Zakirov in the blue there. He's boxing for Uzbekistan. He's 2 points clear with all 5 judges. Papazian of Armenia in the red. He's done a decent job so far. He's giving away a lot of size, a lot of weight, one would imagine. He's a respectable size for a super heavyweight, but then you look at somebody like Zakirov and physically the dimensions are just completely on another planet almost. Left hand to the body. Papazian trying to come back with a left hand to the head, and there's the body punching again there, and that is wounding, that is damaging. You can see it. He just tried to drop the elbows on it immediately there, Papazian, but 2 or 3 got through, and he took them well, to give him credit. There's a jab. Nearly halfway through this 3rd round. Down he goes with a body shot. And that time, he wasn't able to absorb it, and he's in real pain there, you can tell. He's in real pain. He spits out the gum shield, and the referee waves this one over. And what a way to finish a fight. How often do you see a super heavyweight finish a World Championship final with a body shot? I'll answer it for you, not very often. But that's the kind of power that he has, and Papazian had taken 2 or 3 of those not that long before that, and I was mightily impressed with how he'd managed to stand up to it, but that was just one too many.
Well, as we mentioned during our chat between rounds 2 and 3, Andy, that this man started to demonstrate his heavy hands, and look at that, sunk into the pit of the man in red stomach. He collapsed to his knees, and he simply couldn't go on. And even though what you say, these are talented boxers, they should be in condition, it's a world final, the pain of a body shot stays with you, and it has a paralyzing effect. He could still be feeling the effects of that now. Let's get the official announcement.
In the final bout, in the men's super heavyweight division, win by RSC in the 1st round and 36 seconds. 3rd round. The boxer from the blue corner, Jahongir Zakirov, Uzbekistan.
Jahongir Zakirov of Uzbekistan gets it. Asian junior champion, now the world youth champion, and it's another stoppage. His 3rd in 5 fights. And he looks like somebody who has got a big future ahead of him. And that was an absolute wound of that left hand.